Welcome back, YouTube. I know it's been a while. I've been slacking, just been mad busy at work. So for a start off, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year as well. I don't know whether this video is going to come out before New Year. At the minute, it's in between. So whether it'll come out before or after New Year, I don't know. But either way, Happy New Year as well. Yeah, I've just been so busy with work, and I have been doing stuff with the car, but it's just been that manic. I ain't had a chance to pull the camera out or anything. So in this video, it's just going to be a catch up. I have done a fair few little bits and bobs, and on top of that, you can see the engine is in the car. It's going to have to come back out. We have started making the downpipe. That's why the engine's gone back in to test fit it. It is close to the back, but we'll go over that in a minute. Obviously on the last video, we did the clutch pack on the box, and that's where I've left it at. But obviously since then, I've got the gearbox back on the engine, so there's a new dual mass flywheel on there, there's the uprated clutch pack in the gearbox. That's all back on. As you can see, most of this we already covered anyway, but I have tidied the loom up. I'll go over it more. It's probably not exactly where it's going to be, just because there's some coolant pipes and stuff, so I don't want to start zip tying and tying things up because I don't know if it's going to stay where it is. But as you can see, what I did was I stripped all the loom back, just because there were certain plugs I weren't going to need anymore, which I've actually chopped off. And then there was stuff like the coil packs are going to be in different position. I rerouted stuff, and there was just little bits and bobs that obviously, stuff like the throttle body. Obviously the throttle body used to be at the back of the engine, now it's at the front, so I had to reroute the wiring. So I basically stripped it back to bare wire. It was an absolute fucking nightmare, so if you're going to do it, just watch out. I'd do it a little bit at a time and keep binding it, because otherwise you end up just with a mass. So yeah, I've done all that. I've recovered it all. I've made it all nice and neat. It will be zip tied and like P-clips and stuff like that. But I don't want to do that until I've got the coolant pipes on there. So I know what happens. You end up clipping it up and stuff, and then you realise, oh yeah, this needs to go here, this needs to go there, and then you have to reroute stuff. So I'm not going to do that. It's just kind of just sitting here for now. And obviously the engine is going to have to come back out, so I haven't plugged anything on that's not going to stay attached to the engine. So yeah, we're just gonna go over stuff. Before, I didn't have the sump back on. I have put the sump on, and I've had a bung welded for the drain, but I kind of messed it up. I've gone a little bit higher than I should have, and I don't know. I think the CV gator on one of the drive shafts, when the fitting is screwed onto it, I reckon might catch it. What I'm going to have to do, I'll show you through it, but I'm probably going to have to grind the top of the fitting and just paint it black for now and just see how it goes. But in reality, I'm probably going to have to get another sump at some point and have another go at doing the drain. But I think it'll be alright for now. It's just when I'm driving it, it may go through the CV gator, but at least that's the only thing that can happen. I just might end up needing a new CV gator when I fix it. But yeah, other than that, I've put a heat shield and stuff at the back, so I won't do too much talking. What we'll do is I'll bring you up close and we'll start going over some of the things I've done. Right, for a start, I'm going to try and show you the downpipe as best I can. It's a little bit awkward because it's a bit dark down there. Obviously, we've got a V-band straight off the turbo. Then we've got a step up. I don't know how well you can see, but obviously basically the V-band on the turbo is 3-inch, and I'm trying to go for a 3.5-inch just so I don't restrict performance too much. So it's basically nice smooth taper. I didn't want the one where it jumps because it's not best for flow, so it basically comes off the turbo at 3-inch, goes straight up to 3.5-inch, comes around. At the minute it's just tack welded. The reason what I've basically done is I didn't want to send the car to somewhere else, because if I wanted someone else to make the downpipe, then what I'd have to do is I'd have to put the engine back in the car and send it there without the bumper on and stuff. Then they've got to take the engine out and mess around, and I don't really know anyone for it. I don't know whether they're going to leave the car inside or outside. Spending all this money, there's no one I really want to send it to locally. There's a few good places I know, but they're quite far away. I'd have to get it trailered there. They'd have to pull it in and out, which I don't really want other people doing. It's not that I don't trust people, it's just I've done the whole build myself. I just don't really want to send it somewhere else. It's a bit of a pain in the arse. I tried to get someone to come here and do it, but I couldn't really find anyone to come and do it. So what I've decided to do is, there was a lad that works here that does a little bit. He's done stuff in the past, like little bits of bobs, like fabrication wise. And we've got a MIG welder, but we ain't got a TIG welder. Obviously I want it TIG welding. So what we decided to do instead is, I bought all the bits. We've had the engine in and out multiple times doing it. What we're doing is spot welding it together with a MIG. Then I'll take it off the car, and then I can just drive somewhere just with the downpipe, and go to someone and get it TIG welded properly, because that way we've made it all up on the car, we know it's perfect, and then I can take it somewhere else. I haven't got to move the car. Right, I'll try and show you as best I can. If you can see it there, get some light up. It's just basically doing a 180 at the minute. There's no turbo drain on. That's what are going to be one of the awkward things. The downpipe, where it's spinning round, it's kind of going to come underneath the turbo where the drain is, so I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do with that. Obviously I'll cover it as I go through. As you can see, the 4-wheel drive unit's on as well. You didn't see that on the other one. There is, if you can see that line going up there now, that is one of the coolant lines. I'll go over that as well in a minute. So we've got one coolant line on the turbo. There's no drain on it yet, just because I don't want to do the drain until the downpipe's done, basically. And then there's obviously, you can see the banjo there for the other coolant line. I'm going to cover you in a minute and show you what I'm going to do with that. So yeah, that's just the downpipe right now. I'll let it back down, we'll show you the bits I've got, and I'll take you over that coolant line. I'll show you the coolant feed as well, because I haven't fully covered that yet. So yeah, let's let it back down and we'll cover that. Right, so now we're back at the top. I'm just going to cover over everything to do with the turbo. So obviously, like I said a minute ago with the wastegate's not off yet, so it's going to have to, we're not sure how it's going to go yet. It's going to be a pain in the arse, but we're going to sort that. The turbo feed, I ended up going for, put this light down a sec, ended up going for a 90 degree. All the banjos are a bit awkward, and because it's ball bearing, I've got a 1mm restrictor on the fitting, so this is the actual, at the bottom, that's the fitting that came with the turbo. I just bought a 90 degrees, this is an AN4. Obviously comes around, goes around the engine to my oil filter housing, so that's your turbo oil feed. Drain obviously not done. What I will show you is a coolant line. So basically this coolant line down here, it's on a banjo, it's an AN6. It comes down the bottom, it comes round, up round here, and then I'll try and show you as best I can in here. Let me get the light. Right, so in here, this is what I've got. Basically got this from 034 Motorsports. So you know where you got your coolant temp sensor, and it has like the little horseshoe clip that holds it in. Basically, 034 Motorsports do one that basically fits in there. So usually there's a blank here. So you have a blank in with a horseshoe clip. So you take that out, put this in with the same kind of O-ring and a horseshoe clip on, and then it gives you an AN6 line. And because this is right where the water pump feeds down this pipe, it's like the main flow for it. So it'll basically flow through, that'll flow through the turbo. And then on the other side, what I'm planning on doing, I haven't done it yet just because I don't know how to set it up, but if you see this pipe here, this is the return, this is 8mm. And basically this will come around. Usually you have a hard pipe that goes on here, but it will no longer fit no more because it used to bolt onto the manifold, basically the OEM manifold, exhaust manifold that is, not the intake manifold. So it basically come a little bit of hose there, and then it'll go into another hard pipe. It's going to go over here, and then it'll go to the expansion tank, which usually sits there. So what I'm going to do is I'll basically come off here with a hose. I'm going to run to the bulkhead, round the bulkhead, and go to there. But then somewhere around where it's best to go, it'll be chopped, and then I've got a fitting that's basically a 8mm barb into an AN6 coming off like a T-piece. So basically the return one will just basically come off, loop round with an AN6. What I've used on these are the Teflon as well, just to make sure they can handle the heat around the turbo. So it'll come off with a Teflon AN6 line, it'll loop round, it'll come to in, it'll go to the 8mm barb, which is the return back to the expansion tank, really. Drain, like I said, I don't know what's going on with the drain yet. I've got to wait until I'm at a position. I really just need a downpipe, then I can work it out. But yeah, that's it for the turbo setup and stuff at the minute. Obviously, what I'll do is quickly, while we're here, just have a quick look at the loom. As you can see, I've tied it all up. It's not in the place where it's going to sit or anything, because the engine's got to come back out. But as you can see, I just took a bit of crap there. This is just what I've done with the loom on the top. Just try and make it nice and clean. Obviously comes around here. All the injectors are on. Just move my phone out of the way. Right, so these have all had the plugs changed. So I've got my 1000cc injectors. They've got different plugs on. So yeah, they've all been soldered in, and then I've bound it up. And it comes round. You can look under here. Basically, I've done all the wiring, all cleaned it up. So it's all looking nice and smart now. Obviously, all the cam cover and the inlet manifold looking all shiny. Throttle body's on. Obviously, that's the wiring. I've tucked it all around there as nice as I can. So obviously, like I said, the plug for the throttle body is usually meant to be back here. So I've basically stripped the loom back. There's I'm sure there was 3 plugs I've took off, and they're all to do with the evap system, basically. Obviously the standalone I'm using is plug and play, uses the OEM loom. I've just removed it mainly because of the throttle body. I want it to look a bit smarter. And then you've just got the fact that the 3 plugs, you don't have to cut them off. At first I was just going to lose them in the loom, and then I started thinking to myself, like, why hide them in the loom? I'm never going to use them. I'm not using the evap system. I'm going to do a breather setup on the tank. I'm just going to do some kind of charcoal breather on the tank. And then the rest of it that's just already on the engine, it will just be deleted, so I don't need it no more. There's no point in the plugs just sitting there. So I just chopped them back as far back in the loom as I could, taped the wires individually, and then bound them into the loom as well, just to make sure there's never any kind of short or anything along them lines, basically. So yeah, fingers crossed, the loom's all good, and hopefully I don't have to move it again. I'm hoping when I start putting stuff on, I don't think, oh shit, I should have done it this way, or should have done it that way. It's a possibility I might have to strip it back down. Who knows? But at the minute, the loom is good. I think everything's all right. It was a pain in the arse to strip back and to tape back up. It took ages, but in the end, I'm glad I did it. At one point, I felt like I was just going to have to buy another loom because I'd messed it up and I ended up with a bunch of wires. But I just spent the time, I did it, and I'm happy I did now because I think it looks clean. Yeah, so we've covered the loom. We've covered what's going on with the downpipe and where we are now. We've covered the bits on the turbo. So yeah, we've covered most of it. I will go get the box with the bits, just showing you the rest of the bits I've got for the downpipe. And yeah, I think that's going to be. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you the drain as well. I'll show you the turbo drain in a minute. What we'll do is I'll cover the bits for the rest of the exhaust. We'll go over that, and then I'll just show you where the drain is and why I think I've messed up. And that'll be it for today. And then there'll be a video straight after showing you basically what I planned for the fuel system setup. And then yeah, hopefully we're starting to get close. It shouldn't be too long now before we manage to actually get it spinning over. The fuel system's going to be the next biggest hurdle. After the downpipe's done, it's a fuel system. Plug the standalone in, get a base map on it, and we should be able to start it. So yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, let me go get the bits and I'll show you what we're working with. Right, so this is the box of bits. I'll be honest, I didn't really know what I needed because I've never done anything like this before. I didn't know what I needed, so I just ordered loads of different stuff, like 90-degree angles, 45 degrees, pie cuts, all sorts. So I'll just cover quickly all the stuff I got. Most of it's probably not going to be needed. So 3.5-inch straight bit, just in case we needed any straight pieces, we could cut it off. We've got a 90 here, this 3.5-inch. I got it from 2 different companies, that's why they look slightly different, some of them, but another 90, 45. These are all 3.5, by the way. Some of these have been cut and messed around with because we were doing stuff, but obviously I bought a load of different pie cuts. Some of the pie cuts are like 45, some of them are 90s. There were certain things I ordered, then realised after I didn't want no more. This is a 3.5-inch V-band, so it's got the 2 V-band bits. This is basically going to be the end of the downpipe to then make the rest of the exhaust. So one will go on the downpipe, the other one will go on to the next bit of the exhaust. This is a flexi I bought for the wastegate at first, and then when it came I realised that it's massive and I'm just not going to fit it in, so that's just going to go in a spares box. And what I went for instead is I got this one's classed as a bellow. It's basically the same thing, but if you look at them both together, like, these are both the same size. These are both 45mm for a 45mm wastegate, but obviously not only length and width, they're just massive in difference in size. Another 90, and then just like wastegate bits, this is a 90, 45, 90, and then I even got some pie cuts and stuff for it, I'm sure, in here. I haven't opened it yet, I'm not going to open it now, but if you see closer there, they're basically like 45mm pie cuts. So if we need any pie cuts to make up the wastegate jump tube, and then there's just some more pie cuts in here, bigger pie cuts, small pie cuts, everything. We've got a couple of bungs. One is for an EGT sensor for my exhaust gas temperature sensor, and the other one is for my wideband oxygen sensor. So they're the 2 bungs that are going to go in the downpipe. Now you might be thinking the EGT sensor is meant to go in the manifold. Ideally it does go before the turbo, just so we can get the precise temperature. in the exhaust gas. To be honest with you, I looked at the CTS turbo manifold. I can't really work out where I'd put it, and I just don't want to damage it, and I just can't be arsed with the hassle. It's hassle doing it. I can't really see where I'm going to put it. And not only that, I have heard of people where the ends snapped off and gone into the turbo and ruined it. It's one of them things you don't have to have. They're not that expensive, and because my standalone will accept one and basically plug straight in, I thought I'd rather have one in the downpipe than just not have one at all, even though it ideally wants to go in the manifold before the turbo. It's kind of like in between. So yeah, it's not the best, but I still feel like having one in the downpipe right at the start of the downpipe will be better than not having one at all, so I'm going to put it in anyway. But yeah, that's all my bits. Well, leftover bits, obviously there's some already on the car, so that's that bit covered. So what I'll do is now just send it up. We'll have a look at the turbo drain. I'll show you where I've put it and why I think it might be a problem. And yeah, that'll be it. And then I'll try and keep it up to date a bit more as best I can. I will definitely do a video when the manifold, when we tack it up and everything and it's all sorted on the car, I will show you what it looks like and try and get as much of the process as I can. And then I'll go and get it TIG welded, and I'll make sure I'll get that all on the video. So I'll take it when it's just tack welded together, and then I'll show you what it's going to be like when it's fully MIG welded. And not only that, I'm actually Cerakoting it as well. So I'm going to Cerakote it black, the same as the rest of it. Some just for look, some just because it helps stop the temperature. The other thing as well, I'll just show you quickly. You probably have already seen it, but I'll just take you through it. Obviously, I've done this heat shield as well. It's just some stuff off eBay. It's quite good stuff. I went for the extra thick stuff, but I've just kind of shaped it round. It's got metal zip ties holding it in a lot of places. It goes kind of right down and round. Basically, just mainly done it to try and protect the master cylinder, some of the aircon pipes and stuff, because I'm keeping the aircon. Obviously, it comes all the way around here. I may do a little bit more of heat management, like around here, maybe a bit of tape and stuff. So this ain't it, but for now, this is like the main kind of heat shield bit, just to stop some of the heat going through to the master and stuff. I might do a bit more of a wrap round, because it's not right around here and stuff, not got the best protection, so I might put a little bit more in. But yeah, we'll see. So I'll just show you the drain quickly. Here's a turbo oil drain. It's a bit awkward in this position with the engine in. Basically, this is an AN10. It's welded on the inside of the sump. So yeah, it's all nice welded on and stuff, but obviously you can see as the drive shaft goes on just here, I did prep it as much as I can and try and plan it out. Now, I'm not going to get the drive shaft in here now because it's tight. I will cover it better in a later video where I actually fit the drive shaft on and stuff. But basically the flange on it sticks out quite far. Now, when the drive shaft moves up and down, it's not going to make much difference because of this, basically where this sits. It's like the CV gator, the bit where you'd have like the strap on it, basically. It's kind of almost where this is. Now, it does clear it, but I think when I have the fitting screwed on, it may stick up a little bit too much, because obviously the drive shaft, the drive shaft probably sits about just above it. So I don't know, I might have to like put the fitting on and then grind the top down and maybe paint it black just for now. But I will sort it at a later date. If you are looking to do it, this is where I've put mine. If you can see that's where the drain is. So you can see kind of where I've put it, but you ideally just want to come down just a little bit more. It's one of them awkward ones, because ideally you want the drain to be as high up as you can to stop it filling up, basically. But at the same time, it has to be low enough to do the drive shaft. It's just so awkward with being 4x4. You can't the turbo's above the 4x4 unit, so you can't go directly below where the turbo is. So you've got to go here. There is probably other places you can put it. You've just kind of work it out for your best. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've just kind of gone with what I thought. We'll see at a later date whether this works, and if it doesn't work, I'll do a whole video of covering where I moved it to and blah, blah, blah. Being a Mark 5 as well, there is baffles in here. It's just plastic, so bear in mind when you do this, you do have to cut out a circle and mess around with the baffles internally, just to make sure that when the oil goes in, it's not hitting the baffle, because the baffle literally was probably about a 2-3 mil gap on the skin of the sump, and then there was a baffle there, so it would have just been hitting it and it would have been bouncing back, and it might have been all right because there was a gap between it. But yeah, ideally want to make a hole in it so it goes through the baffle. So yeah, we'll cover that better when I work out whether it's going to work or not. But for now, yeah, I just showed you that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.